Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are. Uh, Apologies for at the moment because from the last video I've done, it's been very long. That I'm, not so frequently make the video, so I apologize on that. But it is what it is. I strategize my plan is that um, I plan to make more short videos to record my collection. All right, and rather than having a long and lengthy video talking about the banknote itself, but if some of the things that when I've accumulated enough quantity, and probably I'll do a video like right now. So I have accumulated a certain amount of a banknotes for about since last month. I think more than 30 days since I do one a long video on banknotes. So I will be doing one today. Hopefully it will be short or long. It depends. But here you are. All the banknotes are right here that I want to show and review my opinions as a collector, what's the historical background, and so forth. In a certain extent, what it could be holding its meaning. Well, before we dive into that scenario, just a little sidetrack again, as usual, is what the current world affair is. As you all know, most of the world know, Middle East is in turmoil. Iran is at war with Israel and probably America. America is in a crossroad. Uh, it seems to be they have to obligate themselves to help Israel due to contract. On the other hand, a lot of the American citizens genuinely they don't want to go to war. All right, so things are heating up, and I think this war is a stepping stone for China to finally start officially engage to fight against the petrodollar to become a petro yuan as an alternative source. Imagine the world at this point of time and probably future. Many countries, especially third world, second world countries, and probably some of the first world countries, would decide they have the option to pay in US dollar for oil or pay in renminbi, the people's currency, or yuan, for petrol or gasoline. Some of you, those of you who are following the states, or some of you are Germans called benzene or benzi in Arab countries. What they call petrol. We call it petrol because we were colonized by British. So anyway, wars fueling, prices of oil goes up. Well, generally, if when the prices of oil goes up, oil is what makes the world go round. Gas makes the energy goes round, but petrol is not just only to burn to generate energy or electricity or even to propel your car to move. It's a lot. The products you buy, the plastic that we use, the manufacturing of indirectly using petrol. We call it petrochemical situation. May become increase in price. Everything's are interrelated, and with the close of the Strait of Hormuz, it's detrimental. Plus, not to forget the long forgotten war of the Ukraine. Ukraine supplies the largest grain to the world, and due to this Ukraine and Russia war, the grain supply will be reduced. Plus, now with oil supply having an issue, transportation is limited Many countries are now starting to use a fuel reserve so that they can stabilize the price. Now, it will work in short term, but not in long term. So it's a big problem there. Um, Other than that, America, many of the citizens or voters are try is shifting towards the Democrat, especially independent view. Nearly 70% of independents in the poll stating that they would vote for the Democrats. This is a good sign. Overwhelming support from the independent is a kingmaker. You can say that Republicans and the Democrats, their vote are quite solid. Those who are Republicans, they will vote for Republicans. Even if the Republican become fascist, they will still vote for Republican for the sake of Republican. Doesn't matter if they even insult the principle of the Constitution. So long the Republican wins, these are diehard people of Republicans. The Democrats are the same thing. They have diehard Democrats, and they would vote whatever it is, or whatever situation or circumstances. They will vote for the party. So I always view the important part of the leverage is the independent votes. The independent votes, especially in the city or urban areas, play a kingmaker's role. If you get the support from this independents, you get quite a number. You could win the election. It's much easier. I won't say indefinitely you win the elections, but it will make it easier. Donald Trump in the last 2024 election won ultimately because of the Latino votes. That is a fact. Can't run away from that. Republican parties cannot run away from that. Which they currently screw the Latinos very severely through immigration issues. So with that in hand, Republicans are actually losing their votes from the Latinos much dramatically drop. Actually, even the polling surveys show there are significantly Latinos shifting to Democrats very, very profoundly. So we do not know. I'm not American. I don't study political science professionally or academically full time. But knowing the situation is that, yeah, we have to, America might be seeing a tremendous shift of election coming in 2026 November. We'll see about that. Tomorrow is a general election. Oh, I forgot to say, today is actually, what day is today? Oh, rubbish me. Today is 20th March. Yeah, I forgot to say the date. Today is 20th March 2026. Been a long time never do the video. Forgot what I have to say. So tomorrow, 21st, is a state election in Australia, which I highlighted because it's very important. It is the first state to be tested for One Nation Party. And One Nation Party has always been the very far right political party. We call it a bigots party or the Bogans party. It's a racist party. It was founded in the principle that they need, at the beginning of the early 1990s or late 1980s, they proposed to let the Aboriginal people to die out and not to give them special privileges or rights or even equal rights or returning land. They don't like that. Then afterward, they talk about Asians swamping Australia. That doesn't work, winning a vote, and now they're talking anti-Muslim. Muslims are considered as the devil's cult, and anti-Semitic, as they put it, which is oxymoron, to be honest. All Abrahamic religions are quite similar, and they are coming from a source that they are acknowledging each other as their true one God. Transition all these three religions: Islam, Jewish, and Christianity. And they are fighting among each other across the world. As you can see today's what's the circumstances of the world. Basically, it's like big boys and big girls are fighting each other, saying that I'm right, he's wrong. I'm right, he's wrong. She's wrong, I'm right, and so forth. That kind of blah blah blah. Uh, well, it's saying that you are superior, you are the most correct person to talk about, you are the only person who knows the truth, and you are wrong. That's the problem right now. In a really nutshell, situation of humanity in today, we are facing. We say religious issue. Yeah, if you look at it in the playground, politics is similar case that saying that I'm right, you're wrong, you get pummeled. You know, you worth nothing. You know, you get bullied. I'm right. I'm superior. That kind of thing. So yeah. So it will be a great test because recently polls being conducted federally and each of the state, one nation suddenly propped up. Suddenly, voters were shifting their votes from the Liberal coalition, the and Liberal coalition, to One Nation. The reason, the catalyst, is because of the collapse of the cooperation, the coalition in itself between the Liberal Party of Australia and the National Party of Australia. One is a conservative regionalism party that talks about farmers' rights and farmers' welfare situation, whilst the other one is conservative on the urban and semi-urban areas, which is the Liberals. Both of them are conservative. Both of them are right wingers. Of course, far right is One Nation. You have the Liberal at the center right, and then you have regional right for the national, and then the Labour Party of Australia is centre left. You have the Green in the left, and then you have a socialist alternative on the far left of the party. I remember one time in Australia they have a Family First Party. That is supposed to be the very far right Christian conservative party. I don't know what happened to the Family First Party, but today they are quite in quiet, I would say. But the One Nation has grew even larger. Some might say it could pass the national and the national and the Liberals coalition party will become the third party state, and the two main parties would be the One Nation versus the Labour Party. It's a similar case what happened in trend in UK. I always say this, and a lot of people might say I'm wrong. Australia's trend of politics and culture tend to follow the Great Britain. Whatever Great Britain has done, whatever Great Britain has pioneered in their politics or whatever it is, Australia just copy it and follow. We have Nigel Farage as a threat in United Kingdom, being a far right party, being anti-EU, being a anti-immigrant, and so forth. A very far right winger, the Reform Party, and surveys says that Reform Party was growing very very strong, passing over the traditional conservative right wing party in UK, and it's the same trend in Australia. The coalition, the Conservative Party on the right side, is now being decimated, and the far radical right wing was brought up. Voters swing. It's like if they can't swing on their side themselves, they have to follow what Great Britain has done, and then they'll implement it. So whatever you see in Great Britain, United Kingdom is done, surely Australia will do the same. So that's how I see how Australian politics and society alignment is. Many people will disagree. They say Australians, we are independent and so forth. Yeah, the pattern across the whole entire history don't seem to show that scenario. Okay, so sidetrack. That's it for now. So let's get into the banknotes. Now, I want to show some of the banknotes that I got, new ones in my collection, and I'll like to talk about them. I have some extra ones, but those are quite not seriously need to be recorded to present because it's too common. And I have already said before it was quite repetition, so I don't want to make so much repetition. I would try to talk about banknotes that I got something new, something amazing. Hopefully, something amazing, you know. But to me, everything I get is amazing to me. That's what the feeling as being a collector, of being a numismatic collector or Notaphily person. Anyway, the first note I want to show is this. Um, this is the Central Bank of China Custom Gold Unit, as I previously said many of the times, because there are many varieties of custom gold units. One denomination has printed many varieties of color, design, and patterns are different. So, but the principle of the location of the items are the same: the portrait, the letters, the serial number, the stamp of the general manager and the assistant general manager, the four corners you have to have written in Chinese denomination, etc., etc., and the year of the republic is written down here. Now, this one has three varieties. Yes, I already got the common one, which is the variation A, which is only have a different printer. I got this one because it's a different print publisher or printers. So you can see, yeah, this has 9 characters, which is variation C. The missing one that I have, this one is that is missing in my collection, would be variation B, which has 6 characters, 6 or 7 characters. Okay, in between the 9 and the 5 characters. The variation A is the most common one. Wherever you go and find this type of notes, normally you'll find it's the variation A, which is the most common one, most mass produced. The other ones, like this one, are quite rare to find. Of course, in price wise, they are still considered low because the demand is quite small. I repeat, the demands are quite small, and most of the time people will miss out this type of variation. So yeah, there are 3 types of variation on this one. The 2000 custom gold unit, printed in 1947, if I'm not mistaken, has 3 variations. So I've got the version A already long time ago, and this is my latest acquired for variation C. Got this one from eBay. The person is actually in Hong Kong. Coincidence is the serial number started with HK. So what a coincidence. So that's one note and the collection that I've got, that I am very happy that to find a variation of this. Normally custom gold unit, the different variations are very difficult to find. Most of the time you find a very, very common one only, and throughout your search, your journey, you only can find that type. And coincidentally in eBay, I suddenly surprisingly found this one, and I just gotta have it in my collection. Price wise, I got it. It would be reasonable, I think about 100 to 150 ringgit. But it was fair price, it was bid price. So yeah. The next one I got, also I got it from not from Hong Kong. This one I got it from China, also in eBay. Also Central Bank of China, pick number 338, 1000 custom gold unit, printed in 1947. This is the type of variation, also a very difficult to find. managed to snatch it. I did snatch it not because of the 58 graded EPQ. If it wasn't graded, I would have got it also, because it's cheaper. But anyway, I bid for this, and coincidentally, the bid was around 80 ringgit. So it was a very lucky catch. Nobody was bidding for it, so I actually won this as a only bidder for this note. So it was a very lucky one with a 58 EPQ note. That's for custom gold unit. It's pretty darn rare, and I'm very happy to have acquired this one in my collection. Yeah, see that. We have a look. Yep, everything's the same. This one, now the serial number for this one is they put only one serial number top, and then the block number at the bottom. So you see 2U, and the number is up here, 726537. Pretty much it's a very simple banknote. And after I got this one, suddenly mysteriously in eBay, they popped out a lot of this circulated, heavily circulated, and ungraded, and it's even cheaper actually. And some of that, I will admit it, are expensive, because they know that it is in the market. There's not many people are selling this, so they kind of jack up the price itself. So I find it fair, of course, but very unlucky for me. If I wanted to buy it and pay nearly $100 for it, that's about 300 to 350 ringgit. It's really not worth it, because in the catalog book, this note don't reach that point of price. At the moment, it is around 25 to 40 US dollars, not 100 US dollars. So it's kind of exploited. But again, I understand it, because this type of notes, when you look into deeper ones, the harder ones, they're really, really hard to find. They're very elusive. They're really hard to find. If you got a sheer luck in eBay or any auction houses that I just try to spot it, that's a luck. That's a pure great luck if you can get it. Okay, the next note that I've got from auction in Europe, this one I got it from Europe, is the People's Bank of China, printed in 1949, 200 renminbi. Condition wise, this note I would say is really nice, extremely fine condition, but I believe that there are some glue stains right here. Do you see this texture here? You see that texture on this part? Yeah, I think there's something glue and stick to it, and then they peel it off. So I think it was glued to something. Evidence here too, if you can see here, like foreign paper, something here being glued to it and stick, and then they peel it off. So yeah, this has been mounted or glued to some paper or something, or they try to do a repair. Notice a sticker here. You see under the light, you see a sticker. Most probably here is they've done a repair. But the notes, generally, if you are like me, as collecting it for my personal self rather than investment, this note is not bad. If you're investing, it's a 50-50 risk, because normally this type of note that has been brutally repaired or brutally gummed or something like that, although the color is nice and so forth, it's still, again, is it worth the investment? That's one of the problem for investment, is risk. But if it's a very genuinely rare note, then it's fine. But this type of note, among all the 200 renminbi or 200 yuan notes in design, this is one of the common one. So it's not worth it. So it's not worth for investor to capture this. That is why I actually got this note, because no one was bidding it at that price. So That is what I had in China. The next note is I recently got it yesterday, and I just published it in a short clip yesterday and this today in the morning. So let's talk about it briefly. Now, this net I actually was really what I chased for. The Iran's check money 5 million rial or 500 tuman. It looks beautiful. Simple design, yet to me it's really beautiful. The note how they arrange the words, how the font size, the design of it, and the building. I think probably less detailed, simplified. I think it still looks gorgeous, especially how they presented the mosque is really nice. Security, silver threads going in and out, in and out, in and out. This is one of the notes that I actually like. And then after I got this note, and then I just recently heard about yesterday that they had they're planning to issue another new one, higher denomination of check money, 1,000 tuman or 10 million rials. I understand real currency this year just became worthless dramatically. That's why the people right now is now in angry. They're revolting. The government mismanagement economically. They don't disagree what Iran is fighting against Israel and America. They want the government to really solve the problem, the most bread and butter issue, which is economy. If you can't fix the economy, don't talk about wars. That's pointless. If a country cannot grow through economy, then war is pointless. So Iran really do need to back up and fix. But the good thing about Iran is they have plenty of oil. They have plenty of natural resources of oil. And there are many countries willing to buy, regardless whether it's America and so forth. Actually, you ask me, America actually wants to buy those oil because they are the most hungriest countries on the planet, I would say, for oil. Okay, that's why they have Venezuela already open up. They have Iraq open up. Now they want Iran to open up so they can export it to America. Is another stage. But of course, Iran is backed by China, backed by Russia. China is a big consumer for oil at this point of time, I would say. So yeah, they just need to get buyers that sustain the Islamic Republic position, rather than like how Iraq had happened when they got no help and then they get pulverized by the Americans. So yeah, under the guise of September 11. Of course, right now the war cannot be used because of subject to September 11. But to justify a war, even right now, Americans don't want to go to war. President already made a campaign in 2024 election not to go to war, but to end the wars so that American soldiers do not need to be in the front line as since September 11 in 2001 and onward. So people want that. That's why he was voted in as the president, but that is a failure. So through those process of history, through those events, the banknote exists. Why I talk about not directly related to banknote, well, we can just talk about the banknote itself. But banknote exists for a purpose because of historical events. Why would they need to produce a bank check money rather than just printing as money? Why do they need to print this kind of money? Why do they need to print a higher new denomination? And then cascading right now, they're going to print 1,000 Tuman. That's 10 million, which is a new high denomination for Iran, which throughout all their history of their currency, they never print a banknote worth 10 million, let alone 5 million rial. If the current highest banknote is 100,000 officially, 100,000 is the official banknote that is a banknote to be issued out for use for legal tender. These are not considered banknotes, these are considered as bank checks. Iran checks, as you can see. Even the serial numbers are written in the check form. In the Arab numeral, are written in check forms. So why? That is why you need to go back to history. So I always like to explore banknotes, which is gone through the history event triggers, what triggered this, trigger what. It comes out a result of this note. War, mismanagement, pressure from the America, pressure from the Israel. This year, recently, the Rial plummeted to one of the most weakest currency in the world, worse than Afghanistan. And Afghanistan has nothing other than the production of healthcare supply for opium's medical purposes supply, for painkillers, I would say. But Iran, they have oil, they have gas, yet they are one of the poorest countries in the planet, when they have the weakest currency on the planet. So why? What makes them create such notes? And that is why I always explore. Knowing the history of the country, knowing the event of the country would tell you why this note it is. Some people don't like what I'm blabbering about, but this is what I want to tell, that notes exist for a reason. They don't exist for no reason at all. They have a reason and a purpose. Every time they print is a cost to on the banknote or the Iran check. These are all material, which is cost. So why? Of course, in quantity, paper wise, rather than carry 100,000 until 5 million, why don't you have just one paper on your hand that's worth 5 million? So that is one of the great purposes. But why does the denomination reach until 500 Tuman or 5 million rial on the banknote? Inflation, economy mismanagement, and so forth. So that it has reason, and we need to explore through history what triggers it. So that's one note that I have in my collection that I want. So the next note for Iran that I'm after is the 1,000 Tuman. They have announced it, but we do not know when they're releasing it, and I hope they release it before the country has changed into some other kind of form of government and the Islamic Republic collapse. Then the note cease to exist. I hope that they issue out and I get that note. Then the quantity wise is smaller, so they can be destroyed, and then the value goes up. Hopefully that will happen. Now the next note that I got is something I had, the normal one, which is the half rial from Oman, Sultan of Oman, printed by Central Bank of Oman. Half rial basically is like 50 cent of 50 cent rial kind of thing. So the unique thing, as you can see, you spotted that this note is actually at the corner. They actually didn't cut this corner, they cut it here and they cut it here. There's a big piece of paper right here when they print out, and then they have to cut it there. So this is one of the edges of the corner, uncut corner note. It was coincidentally very cheap. I got this one, less than 50 ringgit also thing. So I just, out of the blue, that I want to collect one of these notes. I don't collect this type of notes normally in my collection. If it's affordable, if in a good price and a good condition, yeah, sure, why not? Just buy one. So this is one of those scenarios I bought this note, for a price and so forth. Yeah, why not? Most of the time, this type of notes, uncut sheet notes like this, or those multiple notes that is uncut, they're quite pricey and they don't grow in multitude value itself. They don't grow much compared to the single note that is ready to use by the public. That one is sometimes much more rarer, or the specimen notes, sometimes they are rarer. Some specimen notes, they are cheap because they mass produce a lot of them. Depends on the quantity that's been issued out. Sometimes they issue a sample so that the people get to familiarize, the shop owners get to familiarize. They have one sample note so they can make sure to see that that is the correct note that it is printed, that receive and transaction. Some just printed just for uh, uh, inner governmental review, by the governor, bank of governor, or the president of the governor, the prime minister, or the ministry of finance. Sometimes they did the finalize. They'll do a specimen to check one final round of the note. Those types are quite expensive. Like the expensive one, like specimen notes from Bank of Japan. Those are the ones that are very hard to find and very rare, and they're very expensive. And normally you don't see people sell these notes, because those kind of notes are given to specific people who have authority to approve the note design, especially final review. Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, the Bank of Japan's governors, etc. Some politicians. So it's really handful of people would have that note with the specimen from Bank of Japan. So yeah, so I had the normal note of this one, so I'm not going to talk about this note specifically, the notes design and so forth, because I don't repeat myself. But the unique thing about this note is just that this is uncut note, so it's one piece of corner. Normally all this above, what are they? These are actually coordination colors. What are the colors that has applied and how it's going to look like? These are sample color. All these are sample colors coordination. You see the green color. These are the various spectrums of green has been applied across the whole set. So you get the example colors and samples color. What has been applied, and so forth. And how they merge the colors of the blue with the brown and so forth, etc. etc. So that is how they look into it. Especially right here, you can see you have blue, pink, which the merger color right here, and then here you have green and orange, then you have orange with pink color, etc., and then merge it into blue spectrum here. So they have spectrum here as like a score, a code score for knowing that what are the sample colors here, what are the colors inside here. They just put out a spectrum like that, so it's easy to identify whether the color is correct or not. So that's one of the purposes they use, dark brown and blue and so forth, as you can see right here. That's how they use that one. So that's how they study the notes color and the tonality. Are they correct? Are the inks are correct? That's how they use it for. The next note, this one's a bit more controversial. Now, this is from Yemen. Yeah, in Yemen, control under the Houthi. The note is genuine. The papers are genuine. The inks are genuine. It's not counterfeit, but it looks like counterfeit. Yet, we know this note is in the PIC number. So it's recognized as a banknote, a type of banknote. This is 200 rial banknote printed in Central Bank of Yemen, specifically Central Bank of Yemen in Sana'a. Okay, in Sana'a. Because Sana'a is actually controlled by the Houthi the Houthi groups, which is actually to United States is a terrorist organization. So this note is being printed illegally and by the Houthi groups who control Sinai, who control the bank in Sinai, who control the printing in factories and engravers in Sinai. They managed to print their own banknote 200 riyal. It looks nice, to be honest. I like notes, but officially this note is illegal. In other areas, there is non-Houthi control, and the so-called the recognized government of Yemen have instructed its citizens not to use this note, or collect this note or transaction this note. This note is considered as no value at all, and it is illegal note to possess, to use, and so forth. So it's a very harsh, strict penalties of having this note in Yemen. So I don't know what's going on in the situation in Yemen. Actually, we don't get a lot of news about Yemen, but knowing that this note, why it exists, is because of the infightings between the Yemen's government and the Houthis organization, who is now becoming a government, especially South Yemen versus the North Yemen situation. Yeah. Now the printer's note, it looks really fake, and I need to actually do further study on this note. I don't know what does this mean. What's the serial number here for? Is this serial number for the note? I don't know. And then you have all this really what's this 19PF stands for, or this one here, FK01, and then here 0521. What are these words? If anyone know, just type in the comments and tell me about it. Even the back they have here KF195. Here is the 90A. They have written here like some kind of code or something, but this kind of things really normally don't come in banknotes. Normally, like Monopoly paper money, they might have this. Toy money, fake money, they have this, but not counterfeit. Normally counterfeit try to get closest to the original, but this is kind of original note printed by the Houthi groups, but yet they have all this. Whether it is generally printed for the use in the Houthi control area, or this is supposed to manipulate the note by printing fake ones so they can create hyperinflation, perhaps to decimate the economy, like what happened to the Japanese during Second World War in the Malaya, Indonesia, and other occupied areas, where they print counterfeit notes by the Allied forces. So probably this is using the same system, who knows, but they look really genuine. The holograms are real, the inks are intaglio inks. It's not printed on like a normal laser printing or normal paper printing machines. They have embossing like this. This is a universal, which I love. This type of braille system, they allow the blind people actually know what value is this 200, and it's universal. If you are Yemenis, you're Jordanian, you're English, you're Russian, you're Chinese, you're Brazilian, wherever you are in whatever country, different languages and so forth. But for the blind, the braille system is universal, and they once read it, anyone knows this is 200 riyal, or at least the number 200. They know it's 200, but they don't know it's real or dollar or pound. They don't know. But yeah, universal. And the only countries that I know that use this widely on their banknote is China. China is very concerned about it, for the blind people. Of course, majority of other countries also printed for the blind people, but they always have different design. They have put like Japanese, they put the lines right here at the top. indicating for the blind that this is 1,000 yen. And then if you put the side here double, and then you feel that this side on the left then is 5,000, and then you put it on the top corner here on the right, and this is 10,000 yen. Only Japanese, if you knows that. If you're Brazilian blind and trying to know that banknote what it is, you don't know that number value, because that is symbol equals to numbers. Whereas this kind of system for the blind, braille, no matter what it is, it equals to the number. So you know exactly what is the quantity of it. You know the number, what it is. It's 200, 200. So I actually would like banknotes accessible for the blind and also the colorblind. Okay, I would prefer they use braille system, like what China did, or doing, I would say, present tense. Present tense continuous. Yeah. The next note is from Sudan, or some of you might say North or Sudan. Okay. South Sudan, the notes are not different. So this is actually from the Republic of Sudan, printed by the Central Bank of Sudan. Really nicely written here, legal tender banknote. Normally, nobody write that kind. Printed in June 2025. It's a new note. Now, the previous design note for the Sudan banknotes, they are quite childish. They're quite plain and not elegant. I would say not professionally made to be elegant. But the new one, the 500, the 1,000 banknote that they issued this year, they are really beautiful. Look at it. I really like how they do. Although the tonality color is little plain or pale, the dynamics of the color is not so well done. But the design and the motif, they're there. I kind of like the design like this compared to the older ones. That is really, really, there's no effort being put into the design of the banknote, the last series. But this series, 2025, yes, they done it. Really beautiful, really nice. They still have the building. This one really beautiful in perspective view. The patterns of writing in the Arab words are beautiful. Compared to the old ones, is quite ridiculous. This one is quite nice, and yeah, again, they have a burial system or security age bureau. Now, one of the security system they use for this type of notes is this one and here. If you flip over the note like this across the other end to this other end, they actually make a straight line and a line together. So that is one of the way of avoiding counterfeits from the printers, which they cannot do it. This type of notes they print multiple and then they cut it right in the middle, so it will be consistent. This is one of the simplest way of doing it. And then they have so-called silver thread, but this is not silver thread. This is actually the hologram threads. The hologram images they use to make the new technology design of a hologram looks in depth. So they use it on to replace the silver thread, becoming a hollow thread, I would say. Yeah. And then it's watermark, the symbol, the emblem of the country. So yeah, pretty much is that way. And then I really like how they this part here is empty in the front, but when you put under the light, which is at the back, you have the logo of the bank up here out, which is this one. So yeah, and then this pattern is a smaller window. At the back is actually a larger window. So when you put it under the light, they're actually covering up into internally. I don't know whether the purpose is supposed to be like that, but I don't see it aligned together very properly compared to just not that one. So yeah, really like this note, and hopefully if my buyer, hopefully my seller will have a 1,000 denomination and also 5,000. If I'm not mistaken, they're going to print 5,000 also of this note. in a new design actually. So I'm waiting also to collect the high the 1000 denomination South Sudanese pound. The next one is from South America. Now, this note I think is supposed to be a commemorative note, because this note actually, if you notice from my short video clip, I did mention it in the title, and if you can see right now, this note has no value. That's right. It's printed and authorized by the Central Bank of Bolivia, okay? But yet the note has no monetary value. It has no monetary value. Basically, is no value. But they print it out for the masses so they can keep it as a commemorative of the independence. Now, a little history, sidetrack a bit. Bolivia got its independence in 1825 from Spain. So now today is actually, last year is 2025. So they have been independent for more than 200 years. Plus this year will be 201 years. So they have the picture, the effigies, I would say, of the heroes that they have fought for the revolution or getting for independence. So yeah, and then the most beautiful part is this part. Again, it's the same one like this one. The say the hologram thread. This one is the same thing they use here. This one at least they have design, and you can see the bird actually looks like it's flapping his wing. If you can see, it looks like it's flapping his wing when you turn. And then you look at the ball, it's very 3D. Can you see the ball in 3D? But yet it is flat. This new kind of hologram spectrum, it actually gives depth. The bird in the front, the back is the leaves, and there's like a pattern behind it. If you look closely, I don't know whether you can see it. You can look at closely, you see there's a depth inside it. There's like a depth inside. And the most obvious one is the ball. You can see the ball in like 3D. This hologram actually manipulates it to look like 3D. And the bird, if you go up and down, it actually flaps its wing. Really beautiful. And then you can see the 200, the number, go up and down, they change. They have patterns within patterns, and then the number 200, 200, they have patterns inside there. So yeah, this is a really beautiful. Everything else in the whole thing is actually polymer, is plastic money, but this is a new technology I've seen. The first one actually used this one was I would say the first I encounter is Kazakhstan. For the 80th anniversary of the Great Patriotic War or Second World War, when they fought against Nazis. So the so-called, they call it the Great Patriotic War, 80th anniversary for the D-Day kind of thing, or V-Day. Yeah, sorry, the V-Day, Victory Day. So they printed out the notes to commemorate the soldiers that contributed to the Soviet Union by Kazakhstan, by the Kazakhs, and they introduced this type of technology of the holo. That was the first I ever seen. This is the second time I see they use it, and it's really beautiful. I love it. See the ball, I really love it. This is that is the reason why I bought this note. Although it is not recognized in the PIC catalogs, the PICK, there's no number for this allocation because this is not a note. It's not banknote. It's not a currency. It's just like a piece of brochure paper printed out by the bank for the people who commemorate the 200th anniversary of their independence. Looks like banknote, yes, because it's printed by the bank, but it is not money, so it has no value whatsoever or legal tender. There's no legal tender in this one. This polymer sheet. I won't say banknote or currency because it's not. It's just a piece of memory or to commemorate their independence. So that is how it is. At the back, is really beautiful as a polymer uh, uh, paper. As a polymer, I think it's really beautiful. What they did and what they put, the color is really matching their national color of the flag, which is this one. And then if you look through the mirror, the window, as they some call it, the transparent window, if you can see, there is the landscape of Bolivia generally is mountainous, dry, arid land. Yet, let me that one, and there's still rivers and plants. So this is how they portray their country, how it looks like. Really nice. I really like this polymer. I try this avoid saying it as banknote or currency because it is not. So yeah, but it's a good collection to have. And there you have it. That is all I have for this month. Now again, I would do this video quite a long video, but hopefully once a month or twice a month, no more than that. And most of my notes that I'm going to go through my collection one by one. I'm going to put it into short clips so that it's easy for people to see each individual note for less than 1 minute or less than 60 seconds. So that was my strategy of doing my videos and my short video clips, because so majority of people, they just look at the notes. They don't want to talk. Many don't want to talk about a long thing, unless certain collectors like you guys who watches me talking about this for 1 hour or so. So I try to do that less, probably once a month or twice a month, and the rest of the time, probably every day, I'll post at least one short video clips on my collection until I have exhausted all of them. Then I have nothing left to present. So thank you so much for you guys hanging out. If you have any question, just pop it in the comments. If you like something, just give me a thumbs. If you like this video, if you have any suggestions, just pop it up in, and hopefully I can get back to you as soon as possible. Until then, I wish you all a good day, good evening, and good afternoon, I would say. And to those who are Muslims, in my country, I would just say Selamat Hari Raya Adri Fitri. Hope you have a good festivity as the Muslims across the world. Today, Friday or Saturday, they'll be celebrating the ending of the holy month of Ramadan. So I wish them all a happy day, and to all a good long holiday. And hopefully I'll see you guys real soon. Of course, I will do short clip videos, so you will see me the next day. Till then, for a long clip, till then, good night and goodbye.